Good evening and welcome to the show. It's Graham Wilson presenting for the first time this season. Normally when we get to this kind of result, we bench the starter and bring in the backup. So that's exactly what's happening at the moment. Was that too quick off the bat? Was that a little sore?
No? I don't know, maybe a little bit, but just guys, just to give you a heads up, we haven't updated the title of the actual video title, so we do apologize. It's not the post-game show for the Giants, it's the post-game show against the Washington Copycats. So
how are we doing tonight, gents?
So apologies on that technical error. I'm doing good, mate. Yourself?
Yep, not bad. It's good to see both sides of the ball come together. 56 points, can't ask for much better than that. Brian, how are you?
All good. Bit smothered with a head cold at the minute. And a wife worried that I might have COVID, and I've been saying to her, if I have COVID, it's because you brought it into the house, darling.
Oh, wonderful, awesome. Yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. So we're welcome to season 3, episode 31, episode 162. Overall, tonight we have Brian, Paul, and myself, and we're basically just going over the mauling that took place on Sunday night. I think I'm being polite when I say that. I'm guessing that the Washington football team don't want Dallas anymore, guys. What do you think?
Copycats, Graham. Copycats. Not Washington football team, the Washington Copycats or the Washington Scandalists. That's how we're calling them now.
Yeah. I mean, if you're bringing heated benches to Texas to an indoor stadium, and it was either 72 or 80 degrees on Monday, and all they could do was punch each other.
And Fahrenheit.
There you go.
And Fahrenheit.
Yeah. It was madness. So
things literally did get a little bit heated on those benches, didn't they?
I literally commented this on the Washington's official Twitter. It's like, so you've got an owner the fans want rid of. Your stadium's falling apart where sewage is falling on the fans. You've got teammates that's punching each other on the sideline. You bring benches to copy what we did into an indoor stadium, which makes you look completely stupid. How pathetic is that organization right now? I'm sorry. I know I'm being I'm being harsh to a bit, but I don't care. They're rivals. Screw them. But how bad can they be?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. It's just crazy.
I don't know if you know, Paul, but there's unconfirmed reports that Dak now owns Washington and has owned them for quite some time. I don't know if you guys have heard that.
Oh no!
Unconfirmed, obviously.
I think we knew the rumors about that for God knows how many years.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, for like being 9-1 against them, do you know?
Without further ado, will we just dive straight into news and updates?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, so for anybody that doesn't have an internet connection today, we're going to go straight into the news. The Jacksonville Jaguars have asked to speak to both Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn. Now, guys, I don't know. I'm going to let you run with this one, but I can't remember the last time a team asked to speak to both sides of the ball from one team. Take it away.
I think it's pretty unheard of, to be perfectly fair with you.
Yeah,
but I just don't see it happening right now. Like after the comments that Dan Quinn said, it's like he came to Dallas so there you can have fun. Like he has no rush to use Dallas as a platform to get himself in that head coaching role. Like, and I think, I don't know. I don't know Dan. Obviously, we don't know Dan personally, but I think he wants to have that fun element again of being like not taking as much pressure being a head coach. I think he really thrives on being more a defensive coordinator. So I think personally, like, he'll stay. Kellen Moore, well, we all kind of know Jerry wants to keep him no matter what, pretty much. He's pretty much one of his guys. So I think it's going to be very hard for Dallas to see them if one of them goes,
Brian?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think either of them are going to get this job. I think they're going to be asked to interview for plenty of jobs. But as Paul said, I don't think Dan Quinn's going to leave Dallas. I don't think he wants to leave Dallas straight away. Kellen Moore, you've said it all year, Graham. He's tied to what the outcomes of this season are with Mike McCarthy. He didn't want to leave last summer to go back to his alma mater in Boise State. So if he even is offered the Jacksonville Jaguars job, would he want to take it? I don't know. So I don't think either of them are the front runner for this job, and I don't think either of them will be offered this job. But it's great to see it. And it's also great to see that Matt Eberflus, one of our former assistant defensive coordinators, is also been called for this job. So it's great to see that tree is full with former Dallas coaching staff.
It's a fairly extensive list, and the usual candidates are on it, so we're not going to go down the list. But what do you guys make of the fact that they want to bring in two sides of the ball from Dallas? Do you think the owner or the GM, who escapes my knowledge at the moment, do you think they want to know? Do you think they want to know? Do you think they know where they want to go with the side of the ball? Do they want to bring in somebody in particular, or are they basically just looking for talent?
I think they're throwing darts at it and just hoping something sticks, because it's the Jacksonville Jaguars modus operandi. They just they throw paint at the wall, hope something sticks. This was what they hoped with Urban Meyer, that he'd bring something to the table, something fresh, something new. Didn't turn out, and lo and behold, he didn't even last a full season.
I just want to bring up this comment. We kind of spoke about this just before we went live about Eric Bieniemy and why is he not being targeted for any head coaching job, because he's done an outstanding job for Kansas City over the years. But our good friend Nix of the Star Guy, he made a really good point where I think he's got a deal already set in place within Kansas once Andy Reid retires. So that's the only thing that makes sense to me, and I think that's probably why a lot of teams are not. Oh, Jesus, Brian, that was loud.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to go on mute every now and again.
So, yeah. So I think there's already a deal in place within Kansas City when it comes to Eric Bieniemy. And we know Kansas City, or the GM and all the big wigs within the organization want to keep Bieniemy there. So I think that's the only reason why he's not been approached, because there already is a deal in place for him, and for them to any team to go up and approach him, it would breach that contract. They would have to pay several millions if that's the case. So I think that's the only reason why.
Yeah, just to go into this story a little bit more. So basically, the Jaguars want to talk to successful coaches before they hit the playoffs. League rules state you cannot talk to a coach involved in the playoffs, and you cannot talk to a coach if moving sideways unless the team give their absolute permission. So this is why the Jaguars are doing it just now. They are clearly wanting to get somebody in early doors. Basically, they won't be able to talk to them in 2 weeks' time, so they've got the pick of the candidates just now, basically. So what do you think of the proposition of becoming Jaguars head coach? Do you think it's a good opportunity with, a regular top 5 pick?
I mean, the Jags do have some good players in that team. I still, personally for me, I still think Trevor Lawrence is not the answer personally for them, but they do have some decent players. They could actually have a couple of years ago they made that fantastic playoff run in the AFC, and that was with Blake Bortles still in the realm. So
that team was built on defense, though, and they went out and spent huge in free agency on defense that year. I think they picked up Barry Church from ourselves.
Yeah, so they picked up some you're spot on there, Brian. So there's no shortage where the Jags can definitely turn something really well, but I think it's just the organization, the GM. It's pretty much what the Browns were for so many years. Like they just kept, they just didn't know what to bloody do, pretty much. So and it all goes up to the top of the tier of that organization. It's Shahid Khan.
Shahid Khan, yeah.
So it's all on him to get everything in place. So like Jacksonville, like any other team, they do have potential to actually do something. Like we saw, I hate to use this because the Eagles is a prime example. They were one of the worst teams one year, then the next year they won the Super Bowl. So it just comes to show, and I hate to use that because they're just a trash organization, just from my perspective. But so, but I do not like the Jags last draft because they had a lot of picks. I mean, that's the thing. I feel as though some of those picks they wasted on, especially who was it? Travis Etienne, the running back.
He was injured all season. He was on
but apparently, this is the rumor. Yeah. Apparently, that Urban Meyer doesn't really have a say in him, but apparently he did not want him at all. So,
yeah, and I mean, I think that's why the Jaguars are the basket case they've been. As you say, Paul, they got a great season 3 or 4 years ago when they did get to the AFC, and they nearly got to the Super Bowl.
Nearly did, yeah.
But if you look, you can put them in that same bracket as the New York Jets, the Detroit Lions, the New York Giants. They're always picking within the top 10 of the draft. And, until they get in a general manager and allow the general manager to actually do their job and just get on with the football, because
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Brian. But Dave Gettleman had so many chances with that one for the Giants. So, but he's at the door now.
Yeah, but if you look at Shahid Khan, he seems to want to be Jerry Jones, but Jerry is smart enough to allow Stephen and allow Will McClay do their jobs.
Yeah.
Yes, we all know Jerry wants the big flashy players at times, but he's over time has learned to let Stephen and Will run the organization, and they run it well. But if Jacksonville don't sort out their general manager position and actually put in someone who knows football and can operate on a football model, they're just going to still be picking top 5, top 10 every year.
So, this is where I kind of go back to using the reference to the Browns. Mind they had that whole stint with general managers, then head coaches, then quarterbacks. They finally got that little bit of stability within the back office. Like, don't get me wrong, they still had those little transition with head coaches and stuff like that. But when you see what the GM has brought to the table in terms of the talent of the team that Cleveland could potentially be, and it's so weird to say that. From when you make Cleveland Browns talented, get out of here. But when you mention the names and how they're played, like Chubb, Myles Garrett, Jarvis Landry, those are big names. And I think the GM has now recognized that in terms of that franchise, Baker's not going to be the future of that, the way how things are going right now, because he's not developed, he's not improved. So it'll be interesting to see what the Browns do going forward end of this season.
No, definitely. So moving on until we know anything more, the Dallas Cowboys officially won the NFC East when the Raiders beat the Broncos. We never even kicked off and we were NFC East champions. What do you guys think? Are you happy with the timing of it? Do you think we should have sealed it a little bit quicker? Are you quite happy going forward?
I'll be honest, I think that actually made the Washington team a bit deflated going into the game, to be honest with you. The fact that they could have had a chance to actually stop Dallas from winning it, but it was actually that opportunity was taken away from them. So and it actually boosted our confidence going into the game, and we just absolutely just smashed them across the face like with a wet rubber glove.
Look, for me, I think, look, NFC, it's great to win it, but I want more.
Yeah.
I'm on record. I've said I think we have a 2 or 3 year window with this team. And an NFC East is the minimum of my expectation, given the talent that's on the roster, given how the team is playing. I want to see an NFC Championship game and potentially a Super Bowl appearance. I don't want to see just an NFC East title.
I just seen that comment there.
Yeah.
Is that for real?
That's official.
No, that's it's Gettleman is gone. Gettleman is gone at the end of the season. But Joe Judge is being retained as head coach, and Daniel Jones is being retained at quarterback.
Ah, right, that's what it was, right? I knew I saw that. I wasn't too sure about Gettleman. I thought he was out the door.
Yeah.
You almost got me so excited there, DJ Dog.
They obviously see something that we don't. They must see a great deal in practice. So what do we think, guys? Are we aiming for the 1 seed, or are we quite happy just to sit anybody that doesn't have a full fitness report, or are we quite happy just to push on?
I'll be honest. I would be more than happy if we can try and get the number 1 seed, because that means we have that full week of full recovery, and actually do a lot more game film on those potential teams that we play against. Like, because that number 1 seed is a massive advantage. Because it used to be 2 teams, now it's just the 1 team, because they've added those 2 extra slots for the playoffs.
Yep.
So I think it's vitally important we get that number 1 seed. If Green Bay can lose a game, and depends on what's the ratio thing? How is this determined?
So if it's a 3-way tie, we would win out a 3-way tie because we have a better conference record. So we've only lost once to a conference opponent.
No, we're undefeated in our conference.
To the Bucks. To the Bucks.
To the Bucks. I thought you were talking
about on the NFC side. Our other 3 losses were on the AFC side.
Sorry, I'm getting mixed up with the division. Sorry.
Yeah. So it goes record. Then if it's a 3-way tie, it's your conference record.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So as things stand, if the season finished today, we would host the Eagles. What do we make of that?
I would prefer to take them out. We play them in our last regular season game, and I prefer to take them out then and just shut them out.
No, I'm saying slit their throats.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate the Eagles with an absolute passion. I do not want to see them in anything. Like, I do not want to see the Eagles in any playoff mention, because they're the most delusional fan base like I've ever met in my life, honestly. So for them to say like I can't remember what game it was. Was it not 2 weeks ago saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to win the division"? 2 weeks ago, I'm like, no, you're freaking not. Shut the hell up. You know, like I think it was actually after the win against Washington, they're thinking they're world beaters. I'm like, get off your high horse and sit down. So honestly, man,
Paul is fired up tonight.
He is fired up.
I just hate the Eagles, man. They just do my nothing.
So teams in the NFC is confirmed for the playoffs. So the Packers, the Cowboys, Rams, Buccaneers, and Cardinals. And at the moment in the hunt is the 49ers, Eagles, Vikings, Falcons, Saints, and the Washington football team are still hanging in there by a thread, it may seem, but they're still hanging in there.
What, they're 7-8, is it? So
it's 6 and 9. So
6 and 9.
You would expect things to fall off.
Yeah,
it's highly, highly, highly unlikely.
Yeah, it just takes one team above them wins. That's them out. So
yeah, I wonder will their new heated benches work for them this weekend though.
Well, you never know in the cold December weeks.
I said, this is again. I think I mentioned that it was I can't mention if it was before the show or on the show or just before we went live. It's like how bad can this organization can be. The stadium is falling apart with sewage dripping down on the fans. Their owner, the franchise hates their own owner. They're trying to get him out. They had to change their name to a nameless football team. What else? Oh yeah, bringing heated benches to an indoor stadium. Wow. And also, and like you said, it got a little bit heated on the sideline.
It did. Punches worth throwing. We won't go too far into that. So just to round up the news and updates, Tyron Smith, apparently Stephen Jones said on 105.3 The Fan that he is very optimistic about Tyron Smith playing against the Cardinals. What do we make of that?
I think it'll be a great show for us because especially if it's Chandler. Well, we're going to do the pre-game show on Thursday, but I think Chandler Jones is still having a decent season. I believe. Is he still playing right now?
I believe so.
Because I'll have to have a look at it. But I haven't been taking too much tabs on the Cardinals. It's more so on the offense. I'm actually less worried about the Cardinals' offense than I am about their defense. The defense, I think they'll still causes maybe 1 or 2 wee problems, but their offense, they've completely took a complete nosedive in the past couple of weeks. It seems to be what happened to us, but I think it's a lot more worse for them because Tyron Murray seems to be really ineffective at the moment. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Well, everybody goes through their slump, and if the Cardinals are having a slump when we roll into town, then all the better for it. Just the last one on the news and updates. Unfortunately, Bernard has COVID, so I don't know if that's going to impact the defense all that much. But it is another name to add to the old COVID-19 list. Unfortunately, shall we get into this star-studded offense?
Yes.
Oh, please do.
How good is this Cowboys offense? Go. Simple as that.
Well, I did say back before the pre-game show for the first Washington game, it's like I think Dak's going to struggle that game, and he's going to struggle for the Giants game, and his coming out party was going to be the week after in the return game against Washington at home, and I was right. I knew it was going to happen. I did not expect it to be that freaking good. You know what I mean? That first half was just an absolute I'm not even going to say because we might get scrutinized for what we say, but it was an absolute ass whooping, man. Absolute domination from start to the first drive. I thought the first drive was probably the only negative I could think about, but we readjusted, and ever since then it was just constant in your face football from the offense. Was not giving Washington any time of day. They were just making them jump offside, making them miss tackles. CD Lamb was fantastic. And big shout out to Terrence Steele. Big shout out to the big man for getting that touchdown. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Folks, make sure you check out that video because it's an incredible touchdown celebration, and the whole offensive line jumping about inside the inside the end zone. I'm sure the ground staff loved them for that. So, Brian, can you remember the last time the Cowboys scored 21 points in the first half and in the first quarter and the second quarter?
I cannot remember at all. But I know Paul was being polite. I'll say it. That was an ass whooping that we handed out in the first half. That team just charged out, and the number of things I was writing down today when I was putting up filling in the banners for the show. I mean, it's the first time in a regular season game we've had a quarterback throw to a wide receiver, running back, tight end, offensive lineman. It's the first time we've had an offensive lineman touchdown since the 60s. Dak threw 320 yards in the first half. He was throwing at a 95% level in the middle of the first half. That's unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul, what do you put it down to? Do you put it down to a strong offensive performance, poor defense, or a little of both?
Preparation more than anything. Like we saw that was working with the wide receiver core outside the training grounds, having him at his own home, regardless of all the COVID restrictions. Like he really wanted to fix this offense. And Mary Cooper came out, I wanted targets. What does he get? He got targets. So what happened during that whole week after that Giants game, they've managed to suss it all out. They managed to squash all the mistakes they did. And my God, like I'm just like ridiculous. Well, Joseph Terrell, Super Bowl versus Buffalo scored 63. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you for the comment, Joseph. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Brian, is this the dynamic trio at wide receiver finally bearing fruit in 21?
I would say it's getting there.
The question I have is, who are the dynamic trio? Because
I know who mine would be.
Yeah, because I'd be putting Schultz in as part of that dynamic trio.
You could if you're going full on pass catchers. Yeah, absolutely, you could.
Yeah.
But when you consider that we're finally starting to see Cooper, Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb running routes together, and all of a sudden the score goes through the roof. I don't think there's any that's no coincidence now that we've got a full on list to play with. Paul, very little need for the running game. What do you think of that?
I thought it was pretty solid. Like,
yeah,
I mean, we did have I did say from the past couple of weeks, I didn't really have any issue with the run game. It's just not to our expectations. Like we were still getting over 100 yards rushing. Like Zeke was being had that little bit of a lingering injury. Paula was being that more dynamic running back, whatever not. But we saw more Zeke was more game ready. I've seen him for a long time, throughout the whole season. I don't know what was his yards for the game, only 37 or something like that. So
to run through the list, we had Zeke Elliott 9 carries, 37 yards, 4.1 average.
So even those 37 yards is not a lot, but I still thought he made a massive impact through that game, especially breaking it. He really broke up the play. And guys, if you watch the game film, see some of the pass protection he was giving Dak. It was poetry in motion. Beautiful. And just remember, running backs are supposed to pass protect as well. That's part of the game as well. And some of the blocks he made was vital that made some of those key passes. Well, I think one of them was to Cooper on the sideline. That it was man. Even though it was only 37 yards, but I was really happy with the performance and the drive that he was given our offense. He was there when he was needed, and it was the same with Pollard. It's not a 100-yard game, but hey, as long as we put points on the board, that's what matters.
Completely agree, Paul. I mean, the pass blocking you've mentioned, the passing touchdown, also a rushing touchdown as well. But Brian, what do you make of the Cowboys having 4 rushers with 4 point whatever averages, spreading the ball around?
Yeah, I mean, it was good to spread the ball about and use different guys and give different looks because, look, let's be honest, the strength of the Washington football team is their defensive line. It's very hard to run on them. So they gave Zeke one series. They gave Pollard the next series. And once the game was done, they gave Clement time as well. So everyone got their carries, got their touches. And that's what you need to be doing at this stage of the season, is keeping guys fresh. It was great to see they played 2 series in the second half and started pulling starters. You saw Dak on the sideline. Zeke was on the sideline. Zach Martin was getting time out. And you're keeping those guys fresh because the Cardinals, no matter how badly they're playing right now, is going to be a huge game.
We need that.
And the Eagles is going to be another huge game. So we need those guys fresh. And that's what's great about that performance. And having those guys, running and keeping their touches low.
Yeah, just to add up on top of that, I know I'm going back to what you mentioned about the Eagles here, but we need to make sure Like if, say for example, Eagles win their next game, and it's not like it all depends on them beating us to reach that wildcard spot. We cannot afford to have a rival in that playoffs. We don't want to give them that satisfaction of them making it into the playoffs, because we may have to play them again the week after. If that makes, like, depending on if that makes sense. So I don't want that. I don't want them to have any glimpse of hope to be in the playoffs. I want them to crash and burn. So
yeah, 100%.
They would like nothing more. They would like nothing more than to spoil the party, and that would fire them up, certainly. But yeah, going back to the stats of the game, is it quite unbelievable that no player got over 100 yards in a 56-point game?
That's amazing. That's unreal. But when you really break it down, special teams helped a lot with that as well, which we'll cover as well. And don't forget our defense. Our defense actually helped us get back into really good cover. So like, rather than putting it down to the end zone, it was getting punted down to like sort of 40-yard line or something like that. So
and the good thing about it was, again, as I said, we pulled starters. So you had a guy like Malik Turner came in, had a 61-yard catch and yards after the catch. And that's what you want, is everybody showing they can do something. Because Kellen Moore can go deeper into the playbook then if he wants. Because someone is going, right, we don't have all three. What's Malik Turner going to do? Because we know he can do something. What's Gallup going to do? Because we know he can do something. And next week, this upcoming game, it could be Noah Brown or Cedric Wilson to do something. And that's what's really good about when this team is humming, is you don't have to rely on someone going for 12 catches, 140 or 150 yards, or Zeke to carry the ball 20 times for 98 yards or anything like that. It's balanced. Everyone can do something for this team. So I have no issue with the fact we didn't have a 100-yard receiver in that game at all.
So we touched on this a little, but we'll go back to this question from Andy. Do we have to make a decision on getting players rested and healthier for the playoffs, or protect the 2 seed? What do you guys think?
I think the word is not protect, is actually chase the number 1 seed regardless.
Yeah.
But I agree in the decision of resting the players for the healthier, in terms of the game for the Cardinals. But I think for these 2 remaining games, play them.
Yeah,
I think we're going to have to if we want that number 1 spot. I think it depends how the game's going, like how it went against Washington there. 3rd quarter, bench them. On to the next game. Whatever.
So Andy, let us know what you think. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, it's about chasing that number 1 seed again. And as they say, Cardinals are a playoff contender. We might have to play them. Let's take them out. And the team from Philadelphia are our biggest rivals. Why would we want to see them in the playoffs? Why would we give them a chance? You don't stand on someone's neck and take your foot off. You push it harder and you choke them out. So do it.
I like that, Brian.
Joe seems to agree with us. No, we need the number 1 seed. Let them play. Joe, I have to agree with you, especially going into Lambeau Field in January. That is, or February, or in this case, this season. That will not be an easy place to go and get a win in February. Let me tell you that. The Cowboys the Packers play particularly well in the cold, and he's coming back in. Can't see Packers losing for him, for them. So yeah, I can see that. You have to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of goes back to the point, even if you secure the number 2 spot, right, and say the Eagles are pretty much going to be the last seed of the wild card, we may have to play them 2 weeks in a row. We don't want that. So this is where I'm kind of saying, if we can just take out the Eagles, that's them out of the contention and still secure that 2nd spot. That's the minimum. As long as we beat the Eagles, I'm happy. So Oh, Brian's having a ghost
He certainly
sneeze.
is, yeah. And certainly what I would say, certainly to that opinion, if somebody is struggling on the team, I would bench them. I wouldn't throw somebody in there just to get the win. But listen, I brought up the point. We didn't have a 100-yard player on Sunday night, so the ball has been spread around.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a little bit of running up the score?
No.
What do we think?
No. As I said, you don't take your foot off someone's throat. You crunch it.
And I think especially in Cooper Rush's case, Paul, what do you think of Cooper Rush's performance?
A lot better than I expected, to be honest. I mean, don't forget. Well, the first snap was pretty a bit. Yeah. Other than that, he held it together. He didn't do anything stupid. He kept it really nice and simple. Had no complaints. And I think was that his first actual touchdown he ever scored, I believe.
Oh, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I'm pretty sure that was Cooper Rush's first ever actual regular season touchdown.
No,
game.
He got a touchdown in Minnesota.
Did he? Oh, so he did. So he did.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of wondering because all the team were rallying up beside him, and he was holding on to the ball so much. I was like, wait, that can't be his first touch. So I just had a complete brain fart. Apologies, everybody.
Yeah.
I completely forgot he was the quarterback for that game.
So just a touch on Cooper Rush performance. 2 of 3, 70 yards and a touchdown. You can't really ask for much better than that. You know, just to come in and see out the game. And you've got to love Dak cheering for his teammates on the sideline.
Yeah.
I thought that was excellent. A true team leader. Anything else you guys want to cover on offense? Is there somebody in particular you want to give a shout out to apart from Terrence Steele, the big man?
Do we want to touch on Rich's point from the group chat?
Oh,
about the difference between Connor Williams and Connor McGovern?
Go for it. I think I missed that part of the conversation.
Yeah. So, G, if you want to take it, or I can pull it up here.
Yeah, just pull it up, Brian.
Yeah. So, tweet went out from John Owning, and he said in week 14, McGovern allowed 3 pressures on 52 snaps. He had 2 positively graded and 11 negatively graded run blocks from 33 snaps. Week 16, Connor Williams allowed 0 pressures on 47 snaps. He had 3 positively graded and 2 negatively graded run blocks from 26 snaps. So I think that kind of puts to bed who should be starting at left tackle. But one of the qualifying points I had from that is the officiating.
Left guard.
Left guard. But the officiating team at the weekend, they let teams play football. They're not going to pull for silly reasons. I think there was only 2 penalties in the whole game,
which is actually quite unbelievable, despite it was a rival game. But and people, we're going to talk about this in the defense, but there's one particular play that never got called, and I'm like, when you really slow the replay down, it was the right call. So, but anyway,
that was the Terry McLaurin one, was it?
And Trevon Diggs,
yeah, we'll get to that.
Well, I mean, McLaurin tripped over his own feet, so it was a great goal.
He tripped Diggs by kicking his foot off, and that's lost his back. So it's basically a counteraction. So anyway, we'll cover that more later on.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So was this the most balanced offense, defense, special teams? Was this the most balanced performance you've seen from the Cowboys in a long time?
Absolutely. I think every position in offense scored a touchdown. And I'm not mean running back, wide receiver, tight end, on offensive line actually all scored a touchdown, and I think that's the first ever quarterback to achieve that.
Yeah.
So Dak made some history in the making that night.
Yeah, I would say if you flick it back to the Atlanta Falcons game, that game was just as balanced. I just think it was a case on Sunday night. We were playing a division rival, and that will always get you to perform better than you have done or will do in any game. So, like, I think things were very balanced against the Falcons. So it's seeing that consistently, because we had that Falcons game, then a huge dip in our offense, whilst special teams and defense continue playing at a high level, and then we're back here. So I want to see that again against the Cardinals and against that other team.
And I suppose we can't go much further without talking tight end. What do we make of Dalton Schultz at the moment?
I'm going to qualify what I say about Schultz. It's a contract year.
Well,
be careful what you do in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to consider you've still got Jaws on big money.
Yeah.
I think I made the point last time I was on the show that Michael Gallup wants paid, Dalton Schultz wants paid, and so on and so on and so on, and you can only keep so many of them. Paul, what do you make of that? What do you make of the money situation?
A lot of interesting decisions are going to happen in the off season. I know that for a fact, but I don't know how it's going to swing by. I really don't.
Yeah.
Like I think Gallup's going to be the one who will go to another team, because he can definitely be a number one elsewhere under the right team. I really do. Does he really want to be that deep route guy for Dallas, where CD Lamb and Cooper? Like, does he really want to be that snap, or does he want to kind of go out and be his own man at a different team and be the face of that franchise? We don't know. So, it's really hard to say. Like,
there's a good. That is a really, really good, solid take. I like that take.
Yeah.
We'll segue into that point actually, Brian. Here's a question for you: with Gallup having the injury and this being his seventh start of the season, is he a tree in another tree's shadow, in that if he goes to another team he will blossom into a number one, or is he quite simply a number 2 or 3 receiver?
He's a number 2 or 3 for me, because in any game where we've missed Amari Cooper, this is not just this season, this is last season, Gallup proved he couldn't do it. He needs someone who will draw double coverage and who will attract safety help, and then he can perform. If he's left on an island one-on-one, there's not many better in the NFL, but he needs someone who's going to attract the attention. And as we say, this is an offense which it's pick your poison, because Cooper can catch the ball, Lamb can catch it, Schultz can catch it, and both of our running backs can catch the ball. And we have depth on our wide receiver chart that can also catch the ball. So I think he will very much leave in the off season, and you will be looking at, you might also lose Cedric Wilson. And Joe's kind of bringing up the point here, what about Turner? If Gallup leaves, you might end up in a situation where Malik Turner might be your third.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, Simi Fehoko was drafted and hasn't played a snap yet. So you have options all over the place.
So what about Turner's highlight reel, Paul? We've all been talking about the run inside the red zone where he missed half the Eagles bench and 11 starters in defense. What do you make of his elusiveness? Can he hold the number 3 jersey?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, he's made the team on multiple occasions. I think it's just because of the depth that we've had. He wouldn't, like, it's just kind of pushing that. I think he just needs that. I don't know. I'm trying to find the right word, but Turner has every capability to be a number 3 wide receiver for sure. He does.
I think you're getting it. He needs flash opportunities. He needs to get the ball, and obviously, if he's got Lamb and Cooper in front of him, he's only going to see so many balls. So to go and carve up the Washington secondary the way he did on Sunday night, I mean, just going to Turner stats, 3 catches, 3 targets, 82 yards and a touchdown. You can't do much better than that.
Yeah.
So moving on to we go jump into the defense.
Yeah, let's go for it, man.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Because let's face it, we've got a few touchdowns to talk about on defense. Let's do it. Tank Lawrence, what a player!
Well,
but Graham, the internet tells us Tank Lawrence is not a good player. He doesn't sack. He doesn't get sacks. I mean, that's his job. He's a defensive end.
Let me address this point.
No. Before you start, I actually saw comments on social media. People were moaning the fact that it wasn't so much the Tank got an interception, scored a touchdown. They were moaning the fact he didn't get any sack, was no sacks in his game. That's what he's paid to do. I'm sorry, what the hell are you expect him to do? He put points on the board. He disrupted the offense. That's what defensive linemen does: disrupt and destroy the offense. Sorry, but I'm going to call you out. If you're if you're a Cowboys fan and you're moaning about D-Law's performance for not getting any sacks, get the hell out of here. Seriously, that is a joke. It's like absolutely atrocious behavior.
So
sorry, Graham, I had to say it.
Let's not beat around the bush. So for quite some time, I have questioned Tank Lawrence's effectiveness on this team. I was well and truly hushed on Sunday night. Let me tell you that for free. Incredible performance. The touchdown, unbelievable. The athleticism alone. He's engaged in a block. The arm throws up and he collects that pass and he's off to the races. He looked like a fullback rampaging towards the end zone. What do you make of that?
I will say, as Tyler Heineke deserves a punch in the face the way he tried to make that block. He basically tried to dive the ball. No. Like if you watch the way he tried to dive in, he was going for Lawrence's knees, losing his whole body weight. Like even turned his back, like to pretend that he wasn't looking, like to disguise it. I knew exactly what he was doing there. That was an absolute Heineke deserves a punch in the face for that. That was just not on. But Lawrence, go on, my son. That's what I'm talking about.
Brian, what's your take on D?
Yeah, I think, look, Tank Lawrence has been a game wrecker for the last couple of weeks for us, and it's coming at a time we needed something, because we've had Trayvon Diggs and we've had Parsons who have been performing at a high level, and Randy Gregory came in and gave us a little jump when he came in, and it's just another little jump that we needed now with Tank Lawrence coming in and disrupting everything. But I mean, the numbers might not be there, but if you look at a tackle for loss, a tackle, interception, return for a touchdown, quarterback hits, his numbers are consistent. You know, it's one or two, but it's consistently things that impact the game. And you can't see that on a stat sheet, how a tackle impacts the game. And that is where he has been standing out in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. I mean, was it simply a good performance on defense because the Washington offense is tanking at the moment? It's pretty bad. Was there a case where it was extremely unfair and we were picking over the bones of a dead animal?
No, I don't think so. I think this defense has just said they know where they came from last year and what they were called last year, and they've just said, nope, that's not us. This is who we are. This is our identity. And we don't care if it's the third or fourth quarter. We're going to hit you hard and we're going to knock you back. and we are going to try and keep our scores. Because if you look at it, I think in the last two games, they've allowed 13 and 14 first downs in the two games. In the game on Sunday, they had 28 first downs on offense. That is what I want to see from a defense. I want them to be mean. I want them to be hungry. And there's other players that have come in and have started showing that as well. Like I think the one thing I said coming out of the draft this year was that we have dogs in this draft class. Guys that have a bit of attitude, a bit of a chip on their shoulder, and guys that want to nearly throw fists. You know, they're not here to be nice guys or to be hot boys or anything. They want to win, and that's what they're about, and that is just shining through. And Tank is the leader of that defense. And you know, a couple of years ago, we had the whole hot boys thing, and Tank was all behind that. And I think he's seen that's not what this defense needs to be about. We need to be about winning.
I wanted to bring this comment up from Joe. He seems to be along the lines of myself. He says, I apologise because I wasn't happy with Tank before, but he's proved me wrong. Joe, I don't know if you're the same as I, but I didn't. The reason I questioned the sack number was the money that Tank Lawrence was paid to be the difference maker. And I'm not necessarily sure if a run stuffer is $21 million per season. But if he's going to produce performances like that, score touchdowns, and effectively just take passes away, I can overlook the sack count. I mean, if he's going to affect the game that much, he can do whatever he wants, basically.
Yeah,
Paul?
difference maker. That's the key word, is a difference maker. Like, I've always been defending when it comes to Tank. Like even for the abysmal season we had last year, like he was still the guy that it was gathering up the double teams, but it was leaving opportunities for other players to make those tackles and that. Like he was making a difference by gathering two offensive linemen to make the tackles, but we're seeing it now where he's not getting double teamed because our defensive line, the rest of the D line have stepped up. Gregory is on fire. And like, it doesn't matter who we put in the middle. If it's Boana, Watkins, Gallimore, they're still causing disruption in the middle, and that's just giving Lawrence that extra. Like, this is why we're paying the money for him. Like, we're starting to see that. So, but I want to go back to what you were saying there, Brian, about the leadership, and I'm going to challenge that. I still say like Tank is the leader. And he's changed his tune. He's no longer the Hot Boys. But I think that's down to one person, and that is Micah Parsons. Since he's came to this team, the whole attitude, like he's been that humbled person where it's like, I'm not satisfied. I want more. I'm not satisfied. I want more. And it's like, think of me, I'm a lion. I want to keep eating more. I want to be top of the food chain. Like he's brought that mentality since day one. Like even before he was drafted, he had that mentality. It's like Dallas needs me. Dallas needs me. I can be the difference maker, right? And he's brought that attitude towards, and it's fed on to all these different players. And this is coming from a rookie. So I think with Parsons' influence, it's helped Lawrence become a better leader as well. So I think, so that's where I kind of think where that's kind of headed.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly with you, Paul. And I also think a lot of this has to do with Dan Quinn as well.
Absolutely.
Because Dan Quinn is not about star players. He's about winning football games. He doesn't care who you are, what position you are on the depth chart or anything like that. He wants guys who want to win football games. And that's what we want.
Cares. Like those two guys who we thought we signed were like, those guys are just going to be fringe players or whatever not. But they've contributed. They've made massive impacts, massive contributions to the team all throughout the season. And it's beyond our expectations when we signed them. So, and you're right, Dan Quinn's the type of guy, he'll bring in a player that we might not expect to be the star name or whatever not, and he'll end up being this absolute, so where the hell did he come from? You know? Like, because we never seen that when with previous teams or who like not all of a sudden under Dan Quinn's system and the defense, it was built for them. Nuts.
So here's a question for you. true or false, Trevon Diggs' interception broke Washington from the beginning.
Yes.
True. 100% true.
When you consider
they didn't need to do it.
When you consider that our offense punted on the first possession, I think that broke the back of Washington's offense from the very, very beginning.
I think it was more dejecting for our defense because they thought they did a good job. They just literally came off the bench, and next thing you know, they're back on again. Like they must be sitting there like, "What the hell, Heineke? What the hell?" So, when our team's gonna give Trevon Diggs the respect he deserves?
Yeah.
Well, and fairness,
I'm not complaining. Not complaining.
No.
I just want to.
In fairness, though, as much as I love Diggs and he is an interception machine, but he is still giving up a lot of yardage in certain plays. I did notice that I think he is number one in the league for giving up the most yards still, which is actually
giving up yards and coverage.
Yeah, which I was baffled by. I was like, until I actually started looking back at the film. I'm like, I was like, yeah, actually makes pretty much sense. Like he just gave up 15 yards in a coverage play where it could have been easily defendable. So, so there is still things that Diggs can work on, but I find that is so. I think after me, like everyone talks about the whole defensive player of the year and that, I think Diggs will be on the shorthand of that list. Like he won't be the big name. I think Micah Parsons' name is definitely more higher up than Diggs based overall on that scenario. So I don't know what you guys think on that one.
It is a good performance. They're amazing numbers, absolutely fantastic numbers. But like you say, Paul, I think there are players doing more effective things week in, week out, bigger things than Diggs. But I agree, he certainly needs to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Like even Parsons was saying that after the game to, it was more or less put some respect on Trevon Diggs' name. Like, yes, he's given up some chunk plays and he's given up 1 or 2 touchdowns, but a lot of that 900 yards that we're talking about in coverage was in the earlier part of the season. Yeah. He has gotten better and is becoming a lockdown corner, because if you look at it, I think in his snaps against Terry McLaurin in the 2 games, I think he was targeted 6 times.
0 catches.
1 catch for McLaurin. I think there was 1 catch from McLaurin. That was it.
I thought it was 0.
That's
no, it was 0 in that game, wasn't it? It was 0 in that game. Yeah.
Like that's the definition of what a shutdown corner does. You take away the best weapon on the opposing team, and that's what we've seen from Diggs all season. He's gone up against the number 1 receiver on teams, and he started to shut them down. And that's what you want from your second round pick, who was a guy who, let's be honest, was in consideration at pick 17 in the 2020 draft. There were a lot of people who thought we could have taken him in the first round, and we stole him in the second round.
DJ Dog coming in with a couple of good questions there.
Yeah.
I will certainly agree. We all know how I love Pro Football Focus. Certainly they like to focus on the yardage, but if you were to give me one corner that gives up 20 yards a game, or give me one corner that gives up 80 yards a game but has a touchdown, an interception every game, I would go with the interception, because the interception changes momentum.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can talk about.
You're spot on. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but I'll bring back up the comment. Like I said, if that was the only small criticism I would have of Diggs, was that there was the early part of the season that Graham just mentioned there. But I would definitely agree on DG Dog's point here. I know I'm baffling going from left to right here. Like I'm agreeing this and agreeing that, but when you put it in that perspective, absolutely, I completely agree. I would love to have the 11 interceptions versus the 3 touchdowns against Diggs anytime. So absolutely.
I think you're basically just bringing up the point, Paul, that there are still things to be worked on. He's not Jalen Ramsey yet.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey still has kinks and
well, of course,
to be honest.
yeah.
But I think even I'm just trying to figure out other players, but I can't figure out any. But even Wade, like, there's always room for improvement. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Really, end of the day.
Yeah.
So we'll just bring up this question again. How about Kelvin Joseph? Welcome to the party. First start of the season. What do we think? Should he have had an interception?
Yes.
Should he have had?
He should.
Let's face it, he should have. But I'm not going to grill him too much for it.
No.
With the limited
that was a great game.
Yeah, without the limited time of snaps throughout the whole season, for him to kind of come out like that, I mean, I'm happy. It's just, again, continuous progression. Just keep. It's going in a step in the right direction for Joseph now. Now he's actually getting game time. So, the more we see it, the more it becomes better. So, I'm all happy. Like, nothing really much else to add on to that, really.
I mean, Brian, from your perspective, rookie cornerbacks, was Trevon Diggs' rookie performance a one-off because he has a Pro Bowl wide receiver brother? Do corners need a little time to bed in?
I think it's more. Sorry, Brian, you know.
No. Like, look, let's not forget, right? And here's the kicker with Trevon Diggs. Trevon Diggs went to Alabama as a 4-star wide receiver. He is still learning to play cornerback. And he is learning at an elite rate that in his second year in professional football, he is in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Cornerbacks don't generally get put into that conversation. It's generally D linemen, edge rushers, and outside linebackers. It's very rarely a middle linebacker or a secondary player that's in there. And he is.
Like, the guy top of my head that really sparks out Defensive Player of the Year, other than a lineman and outside linebacker, is Deion Sanders. It's the only guy I can really think of out the top of my head. I'm sure there's someone else before, after Deion. I'm sure there is, but I can't think of who that may be. But straight off the top of my head would have been Deion.
Yeah.
There was a question asked by Joseph that I thought was quite interesting. We'll bring this one up.
Yeah.
Wolf Hunter Van Der Esch has fallen off. With all these guys making all these plays, is Van Der Esch doing his job properly and quietly, or is he the dull spot of the defense?
You go, Brian. You go first.
I think he's getting a bad rap in the last few games from a lot of people. I think he's abandoned the whole Wolf Hunter. He's got that. He's going, I don't have a contract next season, and I need to put something on tape the teams are going to want to see. I think he's been quite secure in the last 6 games for us. And look, if he can help us win a Super Bowl, which is what we all want, and walks away at the end of the season, I mean, he's walking away with a Super Bowl ring. If we can get him back, great. But
I will. But based on what I've seen so far in terms of the run stuff and capability of him being aligned properly, I want to keep him. If it's based under the scheme of last year, you would want to throw him out the bus because he was so out of position all the time, and I think that's, again, credit to Dan Quinn this year. Like, we've utilized LVE to where he feels comfortable. Like, it's not the most prettiest of plays, or he's not making big impact plays. It doesn't necessarily need to be like that. Like, who was I'm trying to find a prime example. Wilson, that now went to Kansas City. Damian Wilson. He wasn't a big. He wasn't making big plays, but he was there. He was there, run stuff in the run. He was making all the tackles and stuff like that, assists and stuff like that. This is what LVE's doing right now. Like, I don't think we can afford to lose LVE now. Like, even though he's not been given that extra year, but I think we might need to give him that new contract if we can.
It is a sneaky need, and Dave Hellman did say this to us when he was on with us a couple of weeks ago. The linebacker might be something we need to address, because I'm not convinced by Keanu Neal at linebacker, and we've had to have Jerron Curse, and in Sunday night's game, Donovan Wilson drop into the box to help us at linebacker. And that's not a good look. You shouldn't be relying on your safeties to come into the box and make those big hits. Yeah, we have Jabril Cox next season, but we still don't know what we have with Jabril Cox. So it's a tricky one. And again, it's going to come down to money, because we have a lot of guys. We've 27 plus free agents who need to be re-signed, and we need to, kind of prioritize 2 or 3 more quickly than we need to prioritize LVE. Like, for me, I will say it honestly, it's Randy Gregory,
Yep, Gregory.
It's Dalton Schultz, and Connor Williams are your 3 guys that you're looking to re-sign, and then maybe someone else.
I don't know about Williams, to be honest. I'm still in the even though he had a good performance there, but I'm still
that's
in
fair.
the jury.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But
I totally agree. Gregory and Schultz is definitely 1 and 2. In terms of the guys in the 1-year contracts, I'm certain we'll get them re-signed to a 2-year deal, for example. Like Chaos and like KZ or something like that. So I think they're not going to have as much impact in terms of the cap, because they're more or less one of those type of 1-year type of deal guys. So we'll see. But Elizabeth there, Connor's gone, so she's kind of like in the same boat. She thinks that Connor Williams might be heading off next season. And again, guys, it's all down to everyone's opinion. Like we're just like you guys. We're just a group of guys just chatting away football all the way from the UK. So
send us in your comments, folks. Absolutely.
I know comments have been fire tonight. So thanks again to everyone. You guys are the MVPs.
Yeah, and it's great to see there's a lot of new names popping into the comments there. Yep. I mean, as much and all, we love the comments from DJ Dog and Joe, who are regulars on this shows. It's great to see new people like Joseph and Elizabeth sending in comments. So get your comments in, and we'll pull up. We will discuss every comment that comes in. We mightn't pull them up straight away, but we will show them as we're kind of working our way through the show.
Yeah.
So what do we make of Jaron Curse's performance?
He laid the wood a couple of times.
He did, yeah. Is it time to keep one of these safeties?
Yes.
I am going to say the Cowboys have another decision to make, because Donovan Wilson had a better game on Sunday night, and they have to make the decision between who is going to be their strong safety. Will it be Wilson or will it be Curse? And you need to re-sign one of them. You still have Wilson for next season anyway, because he's still on his rookie contract. And then you need to make sure that you make a decision.
I was just saying to either or, one of them's ready to get re-signed. That's why I'm saying yes in a general perspective. But Brian just covered the more details of my answer there.
Yeah.
So
we'll touch on the Washington side of the ball. Scary Terry wasn't very scary.
No, he wasn't. There was Gibson. There was Gibson as well.
Yeah, but just before we do that, Joseph obviously knows that there's a lot of University of Texas fans here, and DeMarvion Overshown, yes, he would be a nice 3rd round pickup for sure.
I mean, do we think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves? But do we think it's going to be another defensive draft?
I would like to think so. Let me go first. Sorry,
go on.
It's going to be O-line heavy and it's going to be linebacker heavy. Yeah. That's what I will say, because I think we will need numbers for linebacker to because we do have Jabril Cox coming back for next year, and depending on what the situation is, to be re-sign LVE, so there will be spaces there that we need to fill up alongside. So probably 3rd round, 4th round linebackers we might pick up, but I think early on it will have to be O-line.
Joseph telling us he is a Texas native. But to your point, Paul, I mean, they've spent they've spent capital on cornerback, and certainly we start to see names appearing into the stat sheet. So we've got Nashon Wright with 2 tackles, Kelvin Joseph with 3 tackles and tackles for loss, possibly even an interception. So they're maybe not hitting the ground in August, September, October, but they're starting to show up now at the business end of the season when injuries start to come in. So certainly we were missing 1 or 2 names in the secondary, and it didn't crack under the pressure. I mean, let's be honest, there wasn't much pressure, but it showed up.
Yeah.
You know? And let's not forget, Reggie Robinson is also there, and Israel Mukwamu, who can both play corner, who have basically redshirted this year. So there's a lot of depth there. I wouldn't, if the right corner becomes available to us in the draft, it'd be a nice pickup, because you can never have enough corners. Same way you can never have enough offensive tackles, and you can never have enough edge rushers. But I would agree with Paul. I think we need to go O-line heavy, linebacker, and maybe another defensive tackle.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Well, let's just touch on the D line for a quick second. What do we make of the D line? Because let's face it, Washington got nothing going.
What else can I say? Like Gregory, with every single guy we had in that field was instant, like putting the pressure on Heineke, left, right, and center. He made them escape the pocket. Parsons was chasing them down, like basically everything that the D line did contributed to what the linebackers forcing off field. Sorry, that's my food just arrived.
Go grab it. I think in Paul's absence, one of the things he would like to touch on is that Neville Gallimore was a captain on Sunday. And
Yes,
Neville has been.
That's why the question went straight to Paul.
Neville has been doing. Look, let's give. Look, everybody knows Randy's getting praise. DeMarcus gets praise. Mike is getting praise. But Terrell Basham, Carlos Watkins, Chauncey Golston have been showing up in the last number of weeks and adding something to this team. And that's what you want. As we said on the offensive side of the ball, the depth guys are giving you something, and that's what you want from your team.
Right. So did I miss Neville Gallimore by any chance?
You did.
Just a little bit. Go, Paul. Let's hear it.
I don't need to say anything else. I everyone knows my love for Neville Gallimore. Everyone knows that. I wanted him to be at Dallas from the very get-go. Like, I actually had him as a first-round draft pick, and we got him in the 3rd round, and I lost my shit when we drafted him on a different live draft stream. But I was just so happy the fact that he just got made captain. It probably wasn't. I would say it wasn't his best performances in terms of comparison to the Giants game, but he was still disruptive. He was still getting into the backfield. He was open, he was forcing double teams on him. What more can you? That's what you want from your defensive tackles. Like, he wasn't getting forced back. He was putting the pressure on. Same with Watkins. Big shout out to Carlos Watkins as well. Man, like, I could go for every single name in that D line, and it seems like every game this year, our D line is stepped up and always give 100%, and that's what you want. And I need to give not just the credit to Dan Quinn, but to Adam Dodd as well. Adam Dodd has done a fantastic job with our defensive line.
Yeah,
and
Star of Hard Knocks.
Star of Hard Knocks with the English accent. Yep. So with all the subtitles. So, but like I said though, like, not many people are talking about Adam. He has done an absolutely stellar job with our D-line, and credit is due. That guy deserves an absolute pat in the back and deserves a lot of praise for what he's done in comparison to last year. He's changed the actual, also changed the defensive line's mantra. That he's probably one of the first guys to probably get rid of the whole hot boys mentality out of that. He's like, I'm not here for that. I want you guys to start thinking about your assignment, start playing for actual football here. So big shout out to him, man.
Yeah, I'll second that. And And what I've liked about what he's done with the defensive line this season is he's moved guys about. If you look at some of the snaps at the weekend, DeMarcus Lawrence was playing over the guards and playing at defensive tackle. There were stages where we were going with 4 rushers and Micah Parsons as the defensive line. So he's
that hybrid type of thing what we've been doing. It's like even though we were going from a 3-4 to a 4-3, but we're actually switching Parsons to that Von Miller-esque type of role, and that's why I keep saying it. Like even though Parsons is a linebacker, but it's been utilized as that pure hybrid type of player. Doesn't matter where you play him on the defense, he's still going to be effective. So we're seeing that. Yeah.
And it goes back to that whole thing, as I say, just get good football players. You figure it out from there, and good football players will adapt to wherever they are going to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
So final question on defense for you. 3 total penalties on the Cowboys. Has the secondary tidied up the pass coverage in the past couple of weeks?
I wouldn't say tidied up, but it's significantly improved. Like I would say a tidy up's a full sweep. Like, like if we had 0 penalties, then yeah, absolutely. Like
again, it depends on your officiating crew. The crew we had this weekend liked to let teams play.
And this kind of goes back to what we were saying when we were talking about the offense. That one particular play was the Trevon Diggs and Terry McLaurin defensive pass interference. Because if you watch the video, like I thought a flag would have been thrown. To be perfect, when you watch it in real time, I thought, "Oh Christ, that's going to be pass interference." But when you watch it in slow motion, McLaurin's foot tags the front foot of Diggs, and that's what made him fumble and actually roll on top of McLaurin. So if anyone, it's on McLaurin's fault. So it was perfectly fine. And I was like, you know what? I'll give the referees credit for the first time ever. They made the right call on that. And that's a thing that I was amazed that was the case.
Brian, is there a high chance that somebody else flags that?
Yeah, there is. And there's an even higher chance that they don't overturn it, even though it's conclusively proven that Terry McLaurin kicked the ground, kicked his own ankle, and tripped up Trevon Diggs. No, the flag wouldn't be picked up.
It was just before that, though, because it was McLaurin's foot that tied Diggs to make him fumble up and whatever. Yeah. And the result of that is what made McLaurin fall.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. And big shout out to Anthony Brown as well. Like, I would say that was one of his, like, he was like one of the forgotten people throughout that whole game, even though he had a quiet game. But that's a good thing. If he's having a quiet game, like, that just to show he was doing his job properly. So big shot. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you, DJ Dog.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just for audio listeners, DJ Dog, thanks again for the great comments. Kudos to Anthony Brown going to the slot and not missing a beat. Absolutely fantastic, like you guys are saying.
Yeah.
Took a little bit of heat, Anthony Brown,
he did.
But he turned it up. On Sunday.
It just seems like where it really matters the most leading into the playoffs, everyone's now stepping up to really to make that player. Like, we're starting to see the potential, but I'm just like, I don't want to get my way ahead of myself still. Like our good friend Brad Sham says, think about the next game. Don't think about Super Bowl. Think about the next game, which is the Cardinals. So that's what I'm. And he's right, because if we get too ahead of ourselves, it's going to come back and bite us in the ass.
Yeah.
So, Brian, what is it they say about punters?
Punters are people to
special teams. Let's do it.
Pat McAfee and the Pat McAfee show, man. Jesus, he'll be having an absolute jerk off for that one.
Special teams. Here we go.
Yeah.
Whoops, technical error.
Technical error. I do apologise for that one. I've cut that one too quickly. But yeah, let's start off with the kicking game. 100%.
I'll take that.
I'll take
8 extra points. 8 points.
Yeah.
And I
I'll
think
take that.
regular listeners will know that I am a little bit critical of Greg Legg at times. I think he's a 75% kicker, but he was 100% on Sunday, and everything just seemed to come off for us. What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, like when you consider that it's not attack on extra points nowadays, and for him to roll out there and score all 8, maybe just shows that the kicking position is a pressure position, and if you're not expected to make the kicks, it's a hell of a lot easier.
Sorry, yeah. I just need to say something. I just got caught out from one of my comments there saying next game we should focus on the Cardinals. I just got caught out. My friend Brianna there just said it's like, you're a fat liar. You said Super Bowl contenders for a text message there. I'm like, I was like, that was the heat of the moment. so there we go. You caught me, all right. Get over it.
Yeah. There we go.
Start with next game.
It's a good evening to Teddy. I don't think Teddy has been on the show with us before. So as we say, wherever you are in the world, welcome along. Get your comments in. We will pull them up.
Yeah, guys.
Brianna is back.
Yeah, whatever.
We put up 56 points. We're allowed a little leeway.
but guys, tell us where you're commenting from. We always like to know, like, if you're from Texas, or you're from the UK, or you're from other parts of the world, like Joe, who's from Italy. Let us know where you're from. Like, we always like to know, because like we say here in the UK Cowboys, we're not just America's team, we are the world's team.
Absolutely. And I think there's another one there from, I think Aaron is a bit of a regular as well, but just to bring it up there, had a good first game, nearly on the interception, and going to be another to watch. Absolutely. That is 100% true. But come back to the kicking thing, Graham. Yeah. And I did have a look at this today. So you said Zerline's a 75% kicker.
Off the top of my head, yeah.
Oh, the only reason I'm saying this is I agree. I thought 75%, maybe 80%. His kicking stats so far this year, 28 of 33 on field goals, which is just shy of 85%. And his extra points, 34 of 39, which is 87.2. I was actually surprised by that. So
that's surprising.
Yeah, whilst it would be nice to be slightly higher up, it would be, he's in no way the worst kicker. And I still wouldn't bet on him to kick clutch, field goal, or extra point. That's That's effectively where the 75%
for me comes from. I would like to see the stats on game winners. I would like to see how he's doing game winning wise against the other 31 kickers, because I bet he's not too hot on that list. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, like, here's the thing about Greg the Leg, right? When it comes to the really simple tricks, yeah, fine, whatever or that, but when it comes to the clutch ones, every time I just want to turn away and not watch the television, like, because I just don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Like, so, but I mean, so far the past couple of games, he's been solid. So again, he's in that rhythm. He's I think. Again, it kind of goes back to our offense and our defense. Everyone's stepping up right now. So I don't really have much else to kind of say, really.
And look, if I could add on another point onto this is why trying to get the number 1 seed is huge for this team. Because you don't want to go to Lambeau Field in an NFC Championship game and have to rely on your kicker to win you the game.
Absolutely.
Because
especially Chris is a frozen tundra there. So
a little bit of confidence from Andy here. I don't mind missing a second field goal in the Super Bowl. We'll already be up by 10.
I like that.
That is confidence.
Yeah, but let's not talk about Super Bowl just yet. Let's talk about Cardinals.
Next game.
We'll use the party line one game at a time.
Joseph, saying he's from Victoria, Texas, and hail to the Queen. And as soon as I saw that, I was there. Am I right? And Joseph answered my question. Yes, Stone Cold Steve Austin is from Victoria, Texas.
Hell yeah, Austin 316.
There we go.
So let's touch on the punting side. Tress Way certainly earned his money. He was a busy boy.
Yeah.
6 punts in that game.
Yeah. He was busy. And I am so happy to have seen Corey Clement have the impact he had in blocking the punt for Chauncey Goldston's touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Clement was brought here to be a special teamer. And if you could add something in offense, that was going to be good. And he has earned whatever money he gets this season, and if it turns into something for next season, he has earned it.
I can't help but laugh at the comment from Aaron there. I can't help but laugh. If anyone doesn't know, for our friends in Dallas and from all across outside the UK, we do have plans of our Super Bowl party held in Glasgow this year. That's still under discussion whether that's still going ahead due to COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
But the idea of all of us in this venue in the bar and it's Greg Zerline trying to do a clutch field goal kick, I think we're all going to be losing all our remaining hairlines by this point. So
yeah, just on that point, Aaron. Right now, we just hope we're allowed to watch the Super Bowl at Walkabout. To be perfectly honest, make sure you keep in touch with us on Twitter and Facebook. We'll be sure to update you on anything that breaks. But at the moment, we're still go, but watch this space, unfortunately. So yeah, guys, is there anything else you want to add on special teams? I mean, we're even scoring touchdowns on special teams now. That's just how complete the performance is.
Again, like we had the offensive touchdowns, defensive touchdowns, and we had special teams touchdowns. So it was a home run.
It's a complete performance, and that's the thing. And I've seen a couple of comments coming in here about some of the guys we do have to come back in. Let's not forget Tyron Smith should be back this week. Tristan Hill, who I still have my doubts about, could be back this week. Malik Hooker could be back this week. So we have a lot of components to come back in who can add to what's already there. Now, I saw this on Good Morning Football yesterday, and it annoyed me.
Oh God! Like, it's just the thing.
Yeah, you know where I'm going to go with this, Paul. That Good Morning Football said.
Why does anyone watch them? I have no idea.
They said, "Oh well, the Cowboys have only beaten Tyler Heineke twice, Mike Glennon, and I cannot for the life of me think of the other quarterback.
It was the Saints. It was
Taysom Hill. Right?
I'm sorry, but my point is, didn't Washington beat Tampa? They beat. Wait, hold on. The Saints beat Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
And I can't remember who it was, but basically
Washington beat the Saints, didn't they?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Washington beat someone else that was like regarded as a contender as well. I'm pretty sure, but even still, hold on, I need to look this up just to back my facts up here.
Yeah.
So,
but like the point is, at the end of the day, we can only beat the teams who are put in front of us, and I don't think any of us in this team here are getting ahead of ourselves and saying we're jokingly saying we're winning the Super Bowl.
They beat Joe Burrow 17-13 against the Bengals. They beat the Giants 30-29. They lost to the Saints. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Raiders.
Yeah.
So I mean, the Raiders beat us. So I don't know where the argument's coming from. Good Morning Football can actually take an absolute jump off a cliff right here.
I think the point for us is, look, admittedly, as a team, It is. It's good afternoon football for us here in the UK and Ireland.
DJ Dog, just for the audio listeners, DJ Dog has asked, is it good morning football in the States? Is it good afternoon or good evening football in the UK? DJ Dog, it doesn't matter because nobody watches it anyway.
It's a pile of shite.
It could be midnight football for all we care. Nobody watches it, to be perfectly honest.
Same goes
apart from our friend Jamie.
That's another story.
Same could be go with Skip Bayless. How's it like Skip Bayless? Like your Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. They do not cover Cowboys football. They're there to demonize. They're there to whatever. Like they don't talk about the intricate details about the game. They're just there about flash, show, be controversial. You're not going to get anything. They're there for clicks. So I don't know why anyone takes the time and effort to watch them.
Yeah.
They're idiots.
Remember, this is the same program that questioned if Zeke Elliott was still the Cowboys starting running back. I mean, that's what more do you need than that?
The reason they're saying that because one of his butthurt was the fantasy football team's doing in the trapper. That's it. Grow up.
Yeah.
Absolute muppets, man.
Yeah. Like, as I said, the point I'm trying to make about this is none of us here as an admin team are getting ahead of ourselves. We're jokingly saying, yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl. But we're very much quite balanced in our approach to things. And it is for us next game and proving in the Cardinals game that we are as good as our record is. Mm-hmm. If we go out and lay a duck egg against the Cardinals, we will go into this team. Absolutely, we will. But by the same token, if we go out and beat the Cardinals, we'll praise the team, but we will also speak about where there are deficiencies. As we said earlier about Trayvon Diggs, we highlighted his 11 interceptions, but he's given up nearly 1,000 yards in coverage. And we will be balanced in it. So, that's what our job here is to do for you as fans, is to give you a balanced opinion and try and steer you away from things like Good Morning Football and Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp and those guys who are just there for clicks.
Not just that, Brian, just to give you an international perspective as well, because it's it's so weird for you guys, especially from the States, to hear three guys from the UK talking in depth about American football. So it's just that different perspective as well. So
yeah.
So I have one of my eyes on the clock, and I think Mr. Mike would like us to keep around the 1.5 hour mark. So
he's gonna kill us.
I can see Brian on the phone to him right now. So let's pay the bills. Will we talk about how many home games we're going to get in January, or will we just leave it?
Which, like I said, don't get ahead of ourselves, but we're confident. We're confident, but we're not.
We've got at least one. We've got at least one.
Don't use the C word. You know what happened the last time that was used.
Well, anyway,
look, even Brianna is telling you.
So, Paul, if you want to play the Bills,
I'll do that. So, guys, if you are planning going to a Dallas Cowboys game this year, or going to a playoff game this year, and also going for next season, be sure to go with CowboysExperience.com for the ultimate tailgate, meet and greet, and game day packages, where you get to meet former Dallas Cowboys players and current Dallas Cowboys players like such Zach Martin, Michael Gallup, Jalen Kearse, Micah Parsons, who's part of the Cowboys Experience team now, and like Hall of Fame players like Drew Pearson and many others. Guys, let's say this: if you are coming from the UK going over with Cowboys Experience, you get treated like absolute royalty. And honestly, I can't vouch for these guys enough. Every time I'm over there, it's just fantastic. A great day event. Get to meet former players. Get to meet former Dallas Cowboy cheerleader alumni. It's worth it. It's worth hooking up with the guys. So, but if you are planning going over, be sure to use the discount code UK Cowboys. Because guys, what do you do? What do you get if you use the discount code?
It's literally free stuff.
You literally get free stuff. So take advantage of it, guys. Give them a call. Contact them for their website. Let them know that you're planning going ahead, and Barry and Michael will be more than happy to help you when it comes to booking your ultimate experience for a Cowboys game.
And Brian, let's have a shout out to our friends across the pond.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you follow all of these guys and gals. Let's not forget there are plenty of ladies who are putting out great content there for our Dallas Cowboys. So you have the likes of Big Game James, you have Cowboys Y'all, Bluff City Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys media team. You have the Barachos, who are good friends of Paul's.
Yep, that's the ultimate tailgating group I'm part of. Yep, so they always deserve a good shout out.
You have Dallas Cowboys Live and Silver and Blue Nation. Make sure you give every one of those people there a follow. You will not regret it.
Well, thanks for all the comments on my season debut as host. Thank you to my
you popped your cherry, mate.
Thank you to my good friends Brian and Paul, who kept things running smoothly for me and didn't go off on too much of a tangent. And we look forward to seeing you on the Thursday show to take care of the Cardinals. I'll leave it to you guys to close out the show.
Yep, guys. See you on Thursday. But yeah, go Cowboys.
Good night, one and all.